My name is Noah Grove. Welcome to my studio, The Grove, and this video about how to pick your instrument. I'm working on developing a course called Singer-Songwriter 101, and this is probably the first thing that needs to happen. This is probably the first lesson. What are the options and what should it be? And I'm a singer-songwriter, and I've been doing this now for about 10 years of just going into the industry trying to be a singer-songwriter and going out and doing gigs and doing open mics and trying to develop my studio. And at this point, I've had enough experience where I feel like I've got a well-rounded understanding of what's involved, what needs to happen, and a lot of suggestions that I could make to my younger self about what to do or what not to do. One of the first things that you need to think about is what are your goals? That might be a hard thing to think about, but it's worth sitting down and just trying to think about, what are you wanting to do? Are you wanting to go out and play at your local bar? Are you wanting to record singles and share them with your friends? Are you wanting to get on the Billboard 100 list or whatever? What are your goals? Because those goals will help inform what is the best instrument for you to start on. Every instrument has different advantages and disadvantages, and in a variety of contexts. And so if you've got a clear understanding of what your goals are, then you might be able to pick one that just best fits in with that and save yourself a lot of time and give yourself the best just situation that you can from the get-go. So some of the things that you might think about: are you focused on performing live solo? Are you more interested in recording and production? Do you want to collaborate with other musicians or stay solo? So if you're interested in performing solo, there are some specific instruments. We're going to look at specifically 3 instruments here. There's the piano or the keyboard. There's the acoustic guitar or the electric guitar, but just guitar in general, and ukulele. Now, 2 of those, the guitar and the keyboard, are the primary ones, but a ukulele is an awesome alternative option that is just as good in its own right. And so it's not to be left out. If you feel like you like the ukulele, then that might be the direction that you want to go. So we're giving the overview of the popular instruments. So let's talk about some of the advantages and disadvantages of these different instruments. So a keyboard is a great instrument for supporting yourself for a number of different reasons. One of those is the frequency range that is within a piano or a keyboard. The piano has the broadest frequency range, and you really want that when you're performing, because part of what connects with people is that frequency range. From the low end to the high end, you want to be able to get that bass sound, those low end sounds. That helps create movement. Bass is or you're in a kick drum. It's almost foundational in getting people to dance, and so it's a really important frequency. And piano has that. And so piano, you have the full range of it, and that's also important because you have more variety contained within your instrument. When you're entertaining people for 3 hours at a time or 4 hours at a time, it's nice to be able to have built-in variety into what you're doing. And that's one of the disadvantages of the ukulele. The ukulele tonally is very limited, more to a mid to upper range of frequency. Some of the advantages of the ukulele are that it is extremely portable. It's very easy to set up. You can get nice ukuleles that have pickups in them, so you can plug it in directly to PAs at events. So the portability, the ease of use, you're dealing with 4 strings rather than 6 strings on a guitar. It's a little bit less to know, and it's a fun instrument, and it can be used in a variety of contexts. It can be used with a full band. A lot of people, I think, look away from the ukulele, and they miss out from a perfectly good option for supporting yourself as a singer-songwriter. Some of the other advantages of a keyboard are that it can be used in recording contexts. A keyboard, if you learn the piano and you learn the keyboard, you've just learned like every instrument, because keyboards are used through computers to hook into computers and get every sound imaginable. You can play a guitar on a keyboard. Now, it's not the same as playing a guitar. If you really want an acoustic guitar sound, you're probably better off playing an acoustic guitar. But you can get close, you can get in the ballpark with a keyboard. And so the point being There are so many sounds that you can access. It's really, at this point, by all practical standpoints, it's limitless. It's just never ending, the new sounds that keep getting developed and made and released. You can play everything. The virtual instruments today are phenomenal, and you can play those through the keyboard. So then the guitar is the guitar, electric guitar or acoustic guitar is the other option, and there are, through pedals, you have a ton of versatility in the sounds of what you can capture with the guitar. But just with an acoustic guitar, you've got a very good frequency range from low to high. Not as good as the piano. If you learn the acoustic guitar, you're learning a lot of the same stuff that you need to know to play the electric guitar. Let's look at practical considerations. What instruments are more budget friendly to start with? Piano is probably going to be the most expensive overall. You're going to need to get a nice stand. You can work with a cheaper stand, but it's going to be in your best interest to get a good one, so when you're playing on the keyboard, it's not wobbling around. And so the stand, to get a nice stand, maybe you could find one used for like $50 or somewhere in the range of 50 to 100. I would say, whether you get it used or new, maybe even a little bit over 100 if it's new, to get a good stand. You could even spend $200 or $300 on a stand if you really want to. If you look more carefully, I think you can go for maybe about $120, $130. If you're supporting yourself as a singer-songwriter, you're going to want to get something that is an 88-key keyboard, or essentially a keyboard that's trying to be a piano. You're going to want acoustic piano kinds of sounds, and so you're looking for a weighted 88-key piano. To get a decent one with good onboard sounds, you're probably spending well over $1,000, even maybe $2,000 or so. The route that I went with my keyboard setup was a Casio CDP S100 that I got for about $400 when I bought it new, and I use a laptop with Keyscape piano sounds to give the keyboard piano sounds. If you already have a computer, that might be a cheaper route to go, although Keyscape is not cheap either. So going the route of keyboard, you can get some cheaper keyboards that might be suitable, especially if you're starting out and you don't know that you're going to keep with this for a long period of time. Maybe get something that just gets you most of the way there or part of the way there in terms of the sound that you really want. So you can experiment and play and write songs and see if this is something that you're going to stay with. And if that's the direction you go, maybe you can get away with spending about $500 or maybe even a little bit less, maybe in the range of like $400 to $600. Keyboard is probably the most expensive route to go. Although if you want to learn piano, you can find upright pianos that are being given away on Facebook Marketplace. The only challenge is actually getting them moved from that location to your house, and you can get a free upright piano that's in not perfect shape, but reasonable shape, certainly good enough to practice on. The upright piano is not going to be mobile for you to take it to gigs, so then you're limited to the places that have pianos. The acoustic guitar, in my opinion, that's probably the best instrument overall because it gives you most of what you want from the frequency range, and then as we get into the cost, you can get a decent guitar for like $300. I would advise to move in the direction of a Yamaha brand. That's the first guitar that I bought personally, and I think I bought it for about $300. I still have it today. It's right over there. And I wrote my first sort of good song, I think, was on that guitar. It's held up for over 20 years. I think the Yamaha guitars, they're overlooked, but there's a whole bunch of great brands out there. Seagull makes some good lower price range guitars. If you could find a used Taylor, I think Taylors are great. They give you the electronics that you're looking for. There are many options out there where you can get your hands on a more than suitable guitar for not too much money. So it's a great instrument to get in, to kind of get in the singer-songwriter game with. And then the ukulele, you can get some really cheap ukuleles. And so if you're just going to play acoustic, where you're not plugging in, you don't need any electronics, you can get a totally fine ukulele for like $50 to $100. If you're wanting to have something that you can take to open mics and singer-songwriter events and where you need to plug it in, there aren't as many options out there with ukuleles like there are for guitars. And I have purchased an acoustic ukulele, and I've purchased acoustic electric ukulele. The electronics in it were not suitable, and it was very difficult to use. So I think if you're going the direction of a ukulele, you really want to spend a little bit more money and get yourself a good instrument. So I would say maybe like $400 or something would be good for a ukulele. And that's just, if I were going to purchase another ukulele, that would be the range that I would look at, is like $300 to $400, something in there. The nice thing with the ukulele and the piano is you probably don't need to buy anything else other than that once you bought it, maybe a 1/4-inch cable. Whereas with the guitar, you probably want some basic pedals to give you some effects like reverb or delay or various effects that you might want to add to your guitar. And so you would do that through pedals. So that increases the setup by a little bit, but there are ways to make that pretty minimal and very easy to set up. You don't have to. You can just go straight into the board. Encourage you to try before you buy. So one of the things is you just want to make sure you want to find what you like playing. And so if you like playing a ukulele, you're more likely to stick with that. To some extent, you just got to go out and experiment, and as you get more and more time with something, you'll figure out, does it suit you or not? Some kind of intuitive level. Is there a natural enjoyment that you get out of playing that instrument? Or are there things that you find really frustrating that are really hard for you to push through and make you not want to pick the instrument up again and again and again? Because the more you pick up the instrument, the better you're going to get. And if you've got built-in things that are discouraging you from doing that, then you're more likely to quit. And so if you can just figure that out early and put the right instrument in your hands, you're giving yourself a better shot of success. So you can go to, most music stores are going to have keyboards, they're going to have guitars, maybe even ukuleles that you could just pick up and play. Try plugging it in. If you're working with an electric guitar, plug it into an amp. A lot of music stores will have acoustic guitar amps that you can plug into as well and see how the guitar sounds through the acoustic amp. Go to your music store and try them, and get some experience playing them and see what you like. The last thing I would say is maybe a thing that can help you to figure out which instrument you want to use is to look at other successful singer-songwriters or successful performers, because each instrument is going to affect your songwriting and your performance in a different way. I'm going to put a list of prominent piano-playing singer-songwriters, performers, and also some that are guitarists, primarily guitarists, and also some ukulele performers as well. Give these people a listen, and then you can maybe see some of the differences that arise within the different performers that maybe seem specific to those instruments. Some of the most famous piano players have a certain feeling to their sound. If you have any questions, if anything was unclear, you'd like me to explain it a little bit further, please feel free to put comments in the description below, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out. Bye. When no one's around and you're feeling down, just get on the upbeat. When you lost your heart and don't know where to start, just get on the upbeat. 'Cause I've been playing on the downbeat for too long. Maybe the remedy is to fall into a song. Just get on the upbeat, just get on the upbeat. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just get